Snow has been the talk of the town for the lower 48 lately, and same areas again for areas of North Carolina, areas of eastern Tennessee, and areas of the Virginias. Even Kentucky could be seeing some snow with a storm system. And we're getting into some details in this video, some very local areas that will be impacted snow, what your area could possibly see, what inches of snow there could be, and that's going to be the discussion focusing on this quick hitting winter storm that is expected to hit on Monday. So let's get into it here, and that's the OOZ. So let's take it back to the 18Z on Sunday. We move the model here. And this is what the GFS is showing here. Remember that low pressure is right there. Then we're having all of this moisture right here. We continue to move that on. And then that moves out. Areas of snow could be getting into potentially Charlotte there with this GFS model run of the 18Z. And then I'll explain some more details on that in a few. We go to the European model, and that is going to be the 18Z. Snow in areas of eastern Kentucky, the Virginias, extreme North Carolina. Dips down some more to the Carolinas, to North Carolina there. Moves on out. The Canadian model showing maybe a bit of ice, and this is the OOZ. Let's go to we're going to do the 12Z. This one's loaded all the way. Snow moves on areas of northern North Carolina. We move on, and then that brings us out of our winter storm. Now, we're also going to be watching another system, but we'll explain that in future videos on what's to come after this storm system is over. So we take a look over at the National Weather Service in Greenville, Spartanburg. Now we have here some dense fog advisories and then some winter weather advisories. Winter weather advisories are up for Boone and areas of Winston-Salem. In North Carolina, we look at our winter weather here from NWS-GSP. Now, this is what they're expecting for snowfall here. 3 inches of snow in Boone, 1 inch of snow in North Wilkesboro, and so on as the graphics on your screen. We move on. This is the percent chance of 1/10 of an inch or more. 12% for Charlotte, areas of Statesville, Hickory, 62% chance there. And then so on as the models continue to keep on trending, and as they progress, we'll see how that goes. But this is what the National Weather Service is looking at here. We go to NWS Raleigh, which is the National Weather Service there for the Raleigh area and surrounding. And we're going to pull up that graphic there for you. As you can see, we have the dense fog advisories, but we're filled with winter weather advisories from Raleigh to Durham to Roanoke Rapids, Roxborough, and then you have Greensboro, Winston-Salem in there again. We'll look at the winter weather, and indeed, we look at the expected ice. As you can see there, no expected ice. Small chances of ice there, but snow is the talk here. Expected snow. This is expected snow by the National Weather Service. Trace and Raleigh. Greensboro, Winston-Salem, 0.5, 0.5. There, 1 inch. Henderson, and then Roanoke Rapids is a 1 inch of snow expected. So as you can see here, they're not calling for any snow expected here in Fayetteville. That can change, and I'm going to give you an outline right here. You see, and I believe roughly these are the areas with winter weather advisories. I wouldn't be surprised if we get lower down here, even in Charlotte. I'll include Charlotte here. I wouldn't be surprised if we extend those winter weather advisories out, or snow ends up going into those areas, because as you can see with the GFS model and the European model, they're torn in between where the snow could land at. Could it be more north or could it be more south? Because, as we saw with the last winter storm or the last snowstorm on Friday, we had that tick north and then it went north right there at the last minute. So it kept trending north and it produced snow north. So it did get into some areas that were in that forecasted area, sort of speak, and it went north more than some people probably expected it to have gone, but it did do that trend at the last second. Now, what's happening here? If you live in Charlotte, and I know Charlotte is waiting for a snow event, I mean, this is some good news. It may not be the best guarantee, but this is some good news. Um, we continue to move on, and before I sort of get very detailed here, we're going to look at the National Weather Service in Wakefield, Virginia. See how that's going because that is towards the outer banks there. Not outer banks, well, so to speak, outer banks of North Carolina. Virginia Beach, expected snowfall here. They're expecting Farmville, 4 inches of snow is expected by the National Weather Service. Cape Charles, 1 inch. So the Delmarva could be getting in on this snow event again as well. So parts of Virginia, this is a gold spot for you snow lovers here. 93% chance of a tenth of an inch or more there in Farmville, Danville, getting in on some of that snow as well. Now let's get very detailed here on what is to happen. And I know you guys have questions and concerns. And also, if you do have questions and concerns, please leave them in the comments below, and I'll try to answer them to the best of my ability. If you do have any comments or concerns, and I'll try to reach everybody, but I cannot promise that I will, depending on how much comments there are, but I will try to send out the information to you as best as possible so that everything goes smoothly. Now, let's get very detailed on what is to happen here, and I want to go to the GFS model here, and can we zoom this in here? We can't zoom that in. Let's go based off of the OOZ run, and as you can see, the OOZ it has that air pocket there. How does that turn out? Areas here, that cold line seems to be trending north. That is what I've noticed with these models. Could it trend back down? That's the question, depending on how cold temperatures are. You see right here, this areas right here, and I'll say it again. I know we've been talking about the last winter storm, and it didn't happen, but we want to give you that possibility. And I do think that we could have overperformance. This area, well, not necessarily overperformance. This area just needs to watch out. Areas in the upstate areas of Rock Hill. But what's my concern is how we move the model. You see how that low pressure is right there, and then we have heavy bursts. What this GFS is signaling is there could be a burst of heavy snow in eastern North Carolina. But then look there. Remember that turn that I was talking about yesterday, sort of where that snow is flowing? That low pressure moves that snow out that way. But, and I'm not sure if this is Northwest Florida, this is just snow, but you have areas of snow that are being thrown right about here. The question is, and then you look at the cold air, is it dry or anything like that will play a part in this. But the question is, could we get any snow? Could it keep getting thrown back? Could we have flurries that could be in this general area? That's the question after this whole system is over. So North Carolina, without a doubt, somewhere in North Carolina, extreme North Carolina, or Virginia, I'll say somewhere guaranteed in Virginia, will be getting snow. We've seen it with the last system, and we're seeing it with this system. But, that's gonna wrap it up. If you guys have any comments, questions, concerns, make sure to leave a comment, and please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one.